The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are simply that, opinions. All are presumed innocent until proven otherwise in a court of law. Sensitive topics are discussed. Discretion is advised.
On a cold October afternoon in Lacey, Washington, 17-year-old Fatima Ali's cries pierced the silence outside Timberline High School. Her parents, enraged by her refusal to go home and get ready to leave on a one-way ticket to Iraq, launch a violent scene in broad daylight. Witnesses rushed in, pulling off the parents as Fatima ran to safety. Authorities later calling it a chilling attempted honor killing. Now charged with attempted murder and kidnapping, her parents sit in a courtroom fighting for their freedom. And tonight, all the evidence is in and the arguments have been made, and it's time for the jury to speak. Also tonight, brand new video of the Idaho 4 convicted mass murderer, a traffic stop as he was driving through Moscow, Idaho, stalking his future victims. Why did police stop him? And what did he have to say in this awkward conversation? Tonight, you will see the video. But first, an unfolding mystery in Tennessee. An unidentified infant is found abandoned on a stranger's property. Then, in another county, the bodies of 4 people are recovered. Is there a connection? Is there a killer on the loose? Tonight, all the latest from this breaking story out of Tennessee.
I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And I remember growing up, and I don't know how many times I saw it on TV shows, cartoons, and other places, and in just stories about the old baby found on a doorstep, right? Someone opens their door and there's a baby there. Oh my goodness, where did this baby come from? And growing up, I never really thought that much about it. I was like, do people actually do that? Like, why would someone do that? Well, guess what happened in Tennessee? A real baby was left at a stranger's home. A beautiful little baby. Now, at first you think about this story and the baby was unidentified and you think about it like, wow, that's horrible. That's horrific. But then I take a step back and I'm like, a lot of times when we're dealing with perhaps a young parent who doesn't want to be a parent and has a baby, we've covered that story so many times. So it's not that story. So I'm like, okay, maybe there is some silver lining to this story involving an unidentified baby. We just have to find out who this baby is, who this baby belongs to, and try to figure out why the baby was left at this stranger's home. So while that mystery is going on in Tennessee, there's another mystery unfolding in another county pretty close by, a horrific death scene. 4 people dead. And you've got one case here, another case there, both mysteries, both extremely serious, and everyone's wondering, is there a connection? Is there a connection between this unidentified baby and these 4 bodies that were found? And tonight it's looking like there is a connection. Let's bring in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas joining us in studio. This story, everyone is talking about it tonight, Cody. So let's get, what is the latest that we know? And is there a definitive connection between this baby that is left and these 4 bodies that were recovered?
Well, Vinny, the short answer is yes, that there is a connection, but I'll walk you through how we got there. So this is a multi-agency investigation that happened all yesterday, Tuesday of this week, in Lake County in Dyer County, Tennessee. That's all in northwestern Tennessee. This 7-month-old baby, just 7 months, not even a year old yet, Vinny. Her name was Weslyn. She was abandoned and just dropped off in a random stranger's yard just after 3 p.m. in broad open daylight. And of course, that guy called 911, which got the investigation going. Now, this all happened where she was dropped off in Tigrit, Tennessee. That's in Dyer County. We have a map here showing you, that's the map of Tennessee here. Tigrit in Dyer County was only about 40 miles away from where those other 4 bodies were found up in Tiptonville, Tennessee. That's in Lake County. They're neighboring counties not too far away, 30, 40 miles away, only about a 40-minute drive. Now, Vinny, let me walk you through the timeline of the events that happened yesterday that led to this baby getting found and those 4 bodies being discovered. So, as I had just mentioned, just after 3 p.m., the baby was found in a stranger's yard, Little Westland, and 911 was called. 5:10 p.m., the Dyer County Sheriff's Office releases a statement saying they're looking for 3 people, a man by the name of Matthew Wilson, a woman named Adriana Williams, and another woman named Courtney Rose. Now, just before midnight, Vinnie, Dyer County Sheriff's Office releases another statement saying 4 bodies were found further north in Lake County. And Vinnie, to confirm that connection, the District Attorney Danny Goodman Jr., he serves in both Dyer and Lake County. He confirmed that these were all family members related to the baby. So, and 3 of those 4 bodies that were found were the 3 names that I had just mentioned. We have Matthew Wilson, 21 years old. That is the father of the baby. Adriana Williams, 20 years old. That is the mother of the baby. Courtney Rose, 38, the maternal grandmother, and Braden Williams, 15, the maternal uncle. And Vinnie, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation confirmed that this is a homicide investigation, and there is also an active GoFundMe page created by what seems to be a friend of Matthew Wilson, the baby's father, where general donations are being given, you know, to go along with funeral costs and what have you, dealing with this horrendous tragedy here.
Absolutely, and the baby's alive, and everyone's trying to put the pieces together. Why was the baby spared? What is the connection to what happened here? Why was the baby left where the baby was left? Cody, thanks so much. Let's bring in another guest. Joining me now is an anchor for KFVS. Jeffrey Bullard is with us. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us. What can you tell us about the scene where these 4 victims were found?
So thank you very much for having me. First off, I also want to mention where we were at. It was Carrington Road, which is just 2 minutes, a 2-minute drive to the nearby correctional facility. This Carrington Road, it was almost like a cul-de-sac, but it was so wooded you couldn't see from our drone just where the police were going. You could tell that it was in the woods, but you couldn't exactly tell where exactly those officers were. We were told on scene that it was a fairly large crime scene that they were investigating. Fast forward to around 4:30, we're getting ready to go live for our 5 o'clock live shot, and all of a sudden you see 2 Department of Transportation wreckers pull out a black Dodge Charger and a white SUV from what appeared to be the crime scene. So they couldn't comment on if those vehicles were exactly related. We do know it was pulled from the area of the crime scene in that nearby wooded area. But there are so many unknowns about the situation that I think really intrigues people because, you know, it's our job to report fact and not speculate on, you know, these people's lives. This is very real for them. We spoke to several neighbors who are just absolutely just, it's so shocking. You don't think something like that happens in your backyard, you know?
Absolutely. So do we know any details about how the victims died, and is this an active search for a killer tonight?
So the person in charge of the TBI, at least the communications person that we spoke to, they were telling us that they're still looking for, and they very intentionally said, suspect or suspects. Somebody's out there still, long story short, from what we're being told at the moment. And
have they said anything about little baby Wesleyan, about why they believe she was spared, or how the timeline of when the baby was left and when the victims were killed?
I know it's very, you have so many questions, and we had so many questions whenever we were at the press conference, just trying to get a better understanding. They were basically telling us it's still under investigation. They weren't too clear with any answers. As well, back to your other questions that I accidentally skipped forward, the cause of death is still under investigation as well. So it's not entirely clear what everybody was doing out in this wooded area, because whenever, like I mentioned earlier, that cul-de-sac, it goes into a bike trail that goes on near Reelfoot Creek. And so there's not a lot out there. It's mostly wood. So it makes you certainly wonder why they were out there. That's still an unknown. There's a lot of unknowns right now.
Absolutely. And we're looking at the video. Thank you so much. As we look at that video, and we can see it's very rural, I assume, right? It's consistent with what we're seeing here. So there wouldn't necessarily be surveillance cameras anywhere. A lot of the cases we cover here at Court TV, there's ring cameras, there's surveillance cameras, there's traffic cameras. Describe the area for us and your thoughts about the opportunity for there to be any sort of video that could be useful here.
Well, that's a really great point that you make up. Whenever we were telling neighbors about just kind of what was going on, because some of them were looking outside, seeing all these police cars, wanting to know what was going on. They didn't have camera footage. The closest nearby camera footage that there might be would be at the nearby correctional facility. But this is really, I mean, when you look at this as a person, it scares you. I mean, you go out there and you think, okay, there's no cameras around. It makes you wonder why there wasn't cameras there, you know?
Absolutely. And final question, I know you have to go. Jeffrey, you mentioned it's near a correctional facility. There's no indication, because a lot of people are thinking, did someone escape from the correctional facility? Is that what we're talking about here? There has not been any information like that that's been made public, or any talk of that, has there?
No, not that we've been made aware of. We just noticed whenever we talk about the location, it's about a 2-minute drive on Carrington Road. You actually split onto Carrington Road at the correctional facility. So nobody has brought that up, at least to my knowledge, if it has anything to do with an inmate or anything like that.
All right, Jeffrey Bullard, KFVS, thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to be on this story a lot, and we hope you can join us again. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
All right, let's bring in our think tank. Joining us live in studio tonight, criminal defense attorney, former state attorney in Miami-Dade, former assistant DA in Atlanta, Daryl Cohen, criminal defense attorney, law professor Meg Strickler, and criminal defense attorney, the man behind the glasses, Josh Schiffer. This is a mystery. This is a mystery. I mean, we've got two significant events. They are connected. They are related. How and why, we don't know.
But remember, the baby was deposited randomly on someone's lawn. That we know.
It appears as random.
It appears random. There appears to be no connection. And then there are 3 bodies of the baby's relatives. I immediately go to the murder-suicide family drama that we see in domestic violence cases.
4 bodies, because there's a 15-year-old uncle also.
Yes, 15-year-old uncle. It's immediately where my mind goes, is that someone associated with this.
But they're looking for a suspect or suspects.
Oh, they're still out there. They took the baby, dropped off the baby, and are on the road.
So it's not, you don't believe it's anyone that's at the house?
No.
It's like someone at the house could have dropped the baby off first, and then...
There's the possibility that it would be the deposit the baby and then do the murder-suicide. But I think with what it appears to me, it would be... go to commit the crime, take the baby, and then leave the baby somewhere ostensibly safe. I don't know how safe someo's front yard.
It's a very confusing. Too much speculation.
Yeah.
We need to know the cause.
Someone cared about the baby. Someone cared about the baby,
yes.
Because if this is a murder, right? If this is homicide, murder, whatever happened there, if the baby stays there in this remote area, they may never find the body for days, and that baby will die. Even if the killer doesn't take the life of the baby will just die, right? So someone cared enough to get the baby out of there and put the baby in a place where the baby would be found.
I agree with Meg and Josh. I think this is self-inflicted, but...
What do you mean self-inflicted?
I think someone self-inflicted murder on him or her, and then, but before that, murdered the other 3 people. But
so we're looking for a ghost right now.
Well, right now, we need to find out what the cause of death was. Once we know what the cause of death was, we can begin to speculate with a little more accuracy. Right now, we're PFA. We're picking from air, and we don't want to do that. What we do know is we've got a healthy baby. We're fortunate. We do know there are 4 people deceased.
So where does the investigation go? Let's talk about that. So if you're looking for someone, you're looking for a motive, trying to figure this out, where are they going? Are they diving into the cell phones of these family members?
Definitely looking at the cell phones, all the
They've got to be
messages.
talking to other relatives to see if there's anything going on.
And the cameras. They're going to look at the video surveillance of whatever they can find.
Yeah,
for video surveillance to give you a timeline of what they can see. Because there will be some video somewhere within that
And last
day.
known contact with the
got it.
victims.
And
Yep.
it's
Yep.
things like the highway videos. You
Yes.
see these flock cameras and cameras
Yes.
scanning license plates. They create these giant databases so they can say, oh, here's a relative's car that was moving in this direction. And Daryl's right, the investigation's going to show us. From what I heard from the report was that it was kind of a big crime scene. That makes me immediately think of a case that I worked on where there was an attack with some chasing going on. And it wasn't walking into a room with all 3 victims. It was a seek and find, which
good point.
makes things look really messy. And then what if a baby wasn't supposed to be there and is? You don't want to be with a baby on the run. I've seen Raising Arizona. That is not the way that you really want to go escape having committed
Right, but
a
this
crime.
was like cold-blooded assassin type person. Everyone would be dead. The baby would still be there. The baby would likely be dead. The bodies wouldn't be found for days. The only reason they found the bodies so quickly was because they found the baby.
Yeah.
Like, from the baby, they were looking for 3 adults. They were looking for mom, dad, and grandma. So how do you think they figured that out in 2
But
hours?
maybe that's
the
what
way,
the issue is they're trying to figure out the baby. I apologize.
No,
Harold.
no, I was going to say there may very well be video. If the person who committed the murder, he or she, may very well have used his or her camera on his or her phone to video this. We don't know. What we do know is we've got a live baby and 4 victims.
Right, but we also have it seems it's 2 hours between the discovery of the baby and then putting the word out that we're looking for these 3 adults. Like, how do police figure out that the baby's connected to those 3 adults?
But
We're talking
that's
about
what
40 miles away.
But maybe there was somebody who saw it, heard it, something like this, and then did not want to get
Saw or
involved.
heard what?
Gosh knows what happened. We don't know what happened. But maybe they saw it, heard it, were involved with it in some which way, I don't know. But maybe that's who they're looking for, is the person that delivered the baby.
And there may very well have been something attached to the baby or in the baby's crib that said
That would
her
lead to
name
the
is
parents.
X.
Yeah.
We just
But it was,
don't know.
it was
yet.
mom, dad, and grandma specifically they were looking for, right? 40 miles away, 40 minutes away, in the middle of nowhere, right?
And we don't know what connection they have to this land necessarily. Is this a random piece of land, or is this someplace that they're known to frequent, inhabit, live? There's a lot of investigation that's going to come out. It is quickly putting together the dots, though. That 40 miles and a baby without a name, it's pretty tough to identify a baby. They don't answer questions very easily.
They don't.
No.
One more fly in the ointment. We know it's near a penal institution. Is that for misdemeanors? Is it for felonies? Has there been an escape? Do we know? We
If there was
don't.
an escape, they would have to tell us, right?
it's a
They'd
red
have
herring.
to make that public, wouldn't
At
they?
some point.
They would have locked down that facility in the first moment they found out about a murder
I
2
agree.
minutes away. That facility
Yeah.
gets the red button and it's
So you're taking that
lockdown.
off the table, but you're thinking you're not taking it off the table.
No, I'm not taking anything off the table yet.
Until we hear.
Smart.
Until we hear.
That's not, it's too much speculation right now.
To me, the timing, I still don't know how you go from baby to we know who the baby belongs to that quickly.
That's a big jump.
I don't
real
think
quick.
so. I think
It
there
would be a
was
big jump
something
if they were
left.
next door neighbors, like the
But
neighbor
there's
says, oh
something
yeah,
left.
that's
I
so-and-so's
I think
baby.
there
Probably
was
something with
some
the baby, like you
forensic
said.
evidence left with
Yes.
that baby identifying that child.
Yep.
That's why your mom put that sticker on all your clothes. man.
Precisely.
That's how it works.
I don't know.
I'm chipped.
That's your
Do you
kid's
think the
picture.
killer knew that by leaving the baby there that they were going to find the bodies quicker?
There's probably, like, I think Darryl had said, like a note was there or some sort of indication with the baby that made them be able to leap very quickly.
And really, are you going to try to ascribe logic to someone who part of their day involved depositing a baby on a lawn? They're not necessarily
No, but
using
there is some
logical-
logic here because that person took the time to remove the baby from a scene where the baby would have died.
It may not be logic, it may be love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't seem like sometimes we've seen cases like this, the parents are split. It seems like mom and dad were together living with grandma and the uncle who's only 15 years old. But so it doesn't seem like that necessarily is a part of this. I'm thinking of the Pike County case where it was, that's what it was all about. It was all about the kids and custody, and it was family feud. It was the destruction of an entire family in that case.
But they're so young.
This
All
is
of
a
those
really
people
young
are
family.
So young.
And it's impossible to speculate as to what somebody's burden is
Should
on
the
any
public
one
be
day.
scared tonight? The folks
No.
who live in the
No.
area?
Absolutely no.
You know
Not
this
at
is
all.
directed.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is
directed.
very specific.
Yes.
I think it's
Not a madman.
No.
maybe madman or
Yeah,
mad
true.
person,
But it's
not
directly related to this family.
Anything to do with the public.
Not a
as
serial
direct.
killer, not a random killer.
No, not at all.
And I bet you the social media of all of those individuals will give some information that'll be very useful. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be on, because they're also young. They're going to be out there on
You're
Snap,
eliminating
Discord.
an entire family.
I know, literally.
Oh, okay. Obviously, we're going to stay on that story. The more information we get, the more information we will give to you. Think Tank is staying with us. When we come back, where are we? We've got a lot going. Oh, BK, new video of BK stalking his future victims. We're going to show that video to you, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, loving father Jared Bridegan gunned down on a quiet road and ambushed so cold-blooded his toddler sat feet away in terror. Now his ex-wife and her new husband stand accused of masterminding the murder that shocked the nation. Is she connected to the murder? Tonight, we investigate.
The Court TV podcast will return.
He was right up on the back end of that van, pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay, cool. Where are you headed?
Well, we're coming from WSU.
So you're coming from Washington State University?
Yeah.
And you're going where? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Unbelievable. That's the video of BK after the mass killings. He's there with his dad. They had driven from Washington State to Indiana to get some Thai food, apparently, on their way to Pennsylvania. Tonight, I've got video from before. Now, this is video we haven't seen before, but this is before the murders. It's, I believe, in August. He's in Moscow, stalking his victims, and once again, gets pulled over by police. Let's take a look at the video and listen to the awkward exchange once again with the mass killer.
Hey there. I stopped you going a little fast. You didn't realize this is 35?
Oh, it's 35?
It is, yeah. So you're going...
41?
Yeah, 43 is what the radar said.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Do you have your license, the registration, insurance? Were you wearing your seatbelt when I stopped you? No. That's no good.
Right. Just being honest with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You guys are... There's absolutely no point not being honest.
Yeah.
You have a radar.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you have a vehicle registration slip or something like that? Okay.
Would I give you my insurance?
Yeah, this is your insurance. That's good. Thing is, I'm on a overtime shift right now. One of the conditions is we have to enforce seatbelt laws, and so to write you a citation for that, it's $10 in Idaho. Not a huge deal, but yeah. Be right back. Can I get a phone number from you?
Yeah, why?
We need to put it on the citation as it goes to the court.
Just for future reference, I mean, I'm obviously an honest person, right? I told you I wasn't wearing my safety belt. When people lie to you about that, say I'm lying to you about that, right? Just for my own knowledge. You honestly go back and look at that, or
With a seatbelt like this, I didn't check as I was coming up, so that's why I asked you.
Do you usually?
I should. I noticed you weren't wearing it, and I'm on this emphasis, and like I said, I'm getting paid by ICD, and they want us to enforce the seatbelt law, so I was being more aware of that. Yeah, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Have a good night.
Should have given him a ticket for DWC, driving while creepy. Let's bring in our think tank. Here, still with me, Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, Josh Schiffer. How do you get pulled over so much? You're like a mass killer in
wonder.
training, and you're getting pulled over. Then you commit it, and you get pulled over.
43 to 35?
Yeah.
What was he being pulled over for real?
Exactly. If he wasn't now known as a horrifically convicted murderer, I'd be screaming bloody murder about that officer's failure to abide by pretty decent basic police tactics. Pulling somebody over for 8 over, in many states,
Never
you're not
happens.
even allowed to do that.
Yes.
Well, it's a percentage-wise, he's over the speed limit.
No, but you don't
it's
get
a
pulled
very,
over
very
ever.
residential area.
8 over is not.
This is Idaho.
Oh, okay, great. I don't
It's a
care.
college town. There's a lot of pedestrians. There's a lot of people
Listen,
walking around.
Why do
I've
you
never
think he
seen
pulled?
it in Athens.
Could he have been pulled over because they thought he was
Thank you.
DUI? Could he have been pulled over because he fit the profile?
Or was he
And the
creeping
reality is-
around, and
by the
that's
way,
why the officer pulled him around?
Yeah, and
pulled
I
him
don't
over.
like calling it BK because Brian Kohlberger has nothing to do with the place where I normally have dinner.
Right,
before I
before the
come
show,
in.
your pregame show.
He likes
Did
a
you
flame
see your
grill.
crown? There was a crown back
By the way,
there.
we have some more news on this from the Idaho Department of Corrections. This is unbelievable. Take a look. Chad Daybell and BK are both in the J block.
They're going to be
Behind bars.
buddies. Isn't that so sweet?
Yeah, one, though, is facing the death penalty. One got the deal. And that, to me, this is, they both should be on death row, I believe, because that's the law in Idaho for the worst of the worst. These two guys are bad. Do you think they would get along?
They probably will. And you know what they probably talk about is let's do a book. Let's see if we can somehow get some sort of, cell phone
Acknowledging one another's notoriety
Yes,
for what they did.
My hope would be that they meet in the middle and they have a duel and they both die.
Let me ask you this,
True, though.
because every time he has an interaction with law enforcement, it's always awkward. Like he definitely seemed more nervous in the first one that we showed, which was after the killings. But he's always doing this back and forth thing with police, all this questioning, and I'm trying to understand his mindset.
Don't.
Good luck.
Don't. You
Good
can't.
luck. But I think a lot of people are talking about this. Is this a guy who seems like he became a mass potential serial killer if he didn't get caught, but a mass killer because he was so intrigued with law enforcement, with criminology, with getting inside the mind of a criminal? And what better way to study the mind of a criminal than to actually commit the crime? I mean, he's always asking these questions. What if I lied? What would you have done? What would have happened? Like, who asked that?
Nobody.
Like,
That's
if I
very
lied to
weird.
police, like, what's going on with this guy?
How do we get in his mind? What we know is what he did. And what he did, he is being punished for. Not enough, but punished for. There's no way for any of us who are semi-normal or possibly normal to get into his mind. There's not.
And I
wish
think
there
the
was.
scary part for people, and always when we deal with killers like this, is like, can they be spotted ahead of time?
Look at Ted Bundy.
Yes, but
Look at Ted
normally,
Bundy.
if you look at the psychiatric part of this, Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer were killing squirrels and stuff like that prior to getting to this level. And some people have opined that perhaps there's some other things that we'll learn about that BK has done.
Well, do you think he has that
situation.
personality that he wants to talk? I mean, he loves the back and forth with law
He's probably going
enforcement.
to talk like Ted Bundy and not tell anything.
And it's going to change over
Yes.
time. He's just at the very beginning
Yes.
of a long, torturously long lifetime.
So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, he might talk.
If he makes it.
And he won't. And if he makes it, like Jeffrey Dahmer did not make it.
Yeah. Let's take a look. We have one more of his traffic stops. Let's take a look and a listen, because to me, this is the only time we've ever really heard him speak in any meaningful way. Let's take a look.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was
forced
behind
to
you the
turn
whole
left.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Always chatty. I mean,
Is there anything wrong with that? Because, come on, having represented a lot of people, they always make a big deal. Look how nervous they're. Man, there's blue lights and somebody with a gun in your face.
there's no gun in his face.
There's
Stop.
a gun
No,
on a
but-
belt at head level.
But
you
we
get
all
kind of
watch
nervous.
all those videos on Facebook and whatnot. You can watch a million videos of people being pulled over. He, for the most part, does not appear which what a police officer would ascertain as being, you know, red eyes or being fidgety. None of the things that I normally see in a police report, he's not doing.
You forgot furtive.
Oh, my bad, my bad, my
Furtive
bad.
is very important.
Bad driver, by the way.
Bad driver, but the few times in my life I've been stopped, I'm very chatty with the officer, and each and every time I've been fortunate enough not to get a ticket.
You're very chatty with everyone.
I've seen Daryl chatty with a mute.
But he's not. He's not very chatty with everyone else, but he seems very chatty with law enforcement. That's why it sticks out to me.
I think that's because he's got the fascination with criminal justice. And in fact, I've talked about the idea that when it finally came to the horrific crime he committed, he had hubris and he had almost some incompetence, turning off his phone, expecting that was going to prevent him from getting tracked.
And then driving to Pennsylvania with his dad. That one really bothers me.
I don't think he gets caught. Without the
Yes.
DNA, he doesn't get, I don't think he gets caught.
I know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think they would have caught him.
We'll never know. And
scary.
the good thing is they did catch him.
They did catch him.
The good thing is he was prosecuted. And the
he's
better
in
thing
prison
is
forever.
he's forever.
Thank goodness.
And remember,
Thank
those
goodness.
poor prosecutors, can't believe I'm going to sit here and defend the they got lambasted at the beginning of this case for not sharing enough materials, for not being public. And look what happened in the end. Good police work got a conviction, saved the people a ton of money by not having a
I don't
trial.
care about saving money. I don't care about it when it comes to the mass murder of...
I care about him not getting the death penalty. Why? Because I didn't want the family of the victims to go through this as each and every time he
Appeal
appealed.
happens,
I wanted it over for those poor family members.
Just wait for the habeas. Just wait for the habeas, folks, because it's going to happen. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about the verdict watch that continues and continues. There's a videotape of the alleged crime, yet this jury is still deliberating. What's going on?
Now, back to the Court TV podcast.
He kind of like spun her around in a way because she didn't want to go with him, and he like grabbed her and put her in a headlock.
She reported fuzzy feeling like her whole life was flashing before her eyes.
Did you have any fear?
Yes.
About what?
Of dying.
Okay. Are you saying anything?
No.
Two parents accused of the attempted murder of their daughter. Initially, it was called an attempted honor killing. That's not what was argued to the jury, was not permitted. But that's the case. Now, 13 hours and 42 minutes of deliberations in a trial that was about 8 days of testimony. This is now a really long deliberation for a trial of that length. Still have not come back. There's a video of the actual alleged crime. There's the boyfriend, there's the father, there's the daughter. You see the father punch the boyfriend in the face. Now he goes and grabs his daughter, and as he's grabbing his daughter, puts his arm around her, sort of a headlock kind of choke thing, and then the boyfriend comes back and a bunch of other people come back to peel the father off of Fatima, and then Fatima is able to escape and get away. They've got the video. They heard the testimony of the victim. But here we are, 13 hours and 42 minutes later of deliberation, still no verdict. But there was a question today. Let's go into court and take a listen.
There is a question from the jury. Ms. Stone is present on behalf of the state. Mr. Kading is present representing Mr. Ali, who is present. Mr. Leary is present representing Mrs. Ali, who is present. The question. Good morning, everyone. Legal authority wasn't defined for count 3, instruction 34. What is the definition of legal authority? Signed by the presiding juror. My proposed answer is please refer to and reread the jury instructions.
That's a lot of the response that juries get oftentimes from the court is, we can't tell you anything. At least they gave them the instructions. Some states, like where I practice, New Jersey, they don't even give you the instructions, so they just read them to you again. But they're concerned about count 3. count 3, which is the unlawful imprisonment. And they're asking about legal authority under count 3. They're not talking about attempted murder. So where are we? What does this mean? Let's bring back in our think tank. Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, Josh Schiffer. Josh is shaking his head.
Man, ever since this case started, we've talked about this as almost a corporal punishment-themed case if you reframe it. And that's where I believe one of the jurors has gone into the what rights do parents have to punish their kid. And that is a really sensitive issue. We've seen it play out here in Georgia with big differences between very responsible and respectable sides. I don't necessarily think it applies here, but I could see a juror holding things up saying, nope, that's a parent parenting their child.
Right,
Well, also-
having the legal authority, right?
But also, I think the issue really is that they're confused on what to do with the mother. I think they're just confused. Forget the law, forget the jury instructions. They're just kind of like, what do we do with her? I think that's what they're struggling on more so
But the
than anything
question's
else.
is about the unlawful imprisonment count.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is very troubling. What we see is troubling. This is a case that should, in my view, have been worked out before trial with a great deal of counseling, a lot of community service, and even more counseling, because this is not, in my view, attempted murder. It's a daddy who overreacted but didn't try to murder his daughter.
So what rights does a parent have? Your daughter is missing, your teenage daughter is missing. She left the house, apparently took some money from mom, and then they find her and they want to bring her back home. She's saying, no, I don't want to go back home. What can a parent do?
What you're forgetting in the story here, I like what you just gave as a hypothetical, and I have teenagers. You want to strangle them often, but you don't. You don't. You don't put your hands on them.
No, but
period.
what happens? Okay, let's look at in the beginning. Grabs her. I always grab Daryl. Grabs her like this, and then he's attacked by the boyfriend and the others that are there.
Her.
Right, but defending her. Can a boyfriend interfere with a parent trying to get her daughter into the car to take her home?
Yes, but shouldn't. Yes, but should not
It's
have.
but the story. The jury didn't get to hear what the story.
They know about Iraq.
Yeah,
they don't
they
know
know.
what's going on in
But
Iraq.
exactly.
Neither
They
do
know
we.
about exactly. We know the
But
country's
doesn't
there.
this? But doesn't the argument made by the defense? And I'm echoing kind of what the defense is saying, because obviously this isn't an easy case for the jury. Otherwise, they would have come back with a verdict, right? What they're saying is you can't look at them the way you look at them. You look at them the same way you would look at any other parent. So what rights does any other parent have to get a child to go back home that doesn't want to go back
But you
home?
don't use physical force.
You can't use any physical force?
I disagree. I completely disagree.
Vinny's highlighted the big important thing. The problem is that there's not a clear line, and it's up to your elected prosecutor, somebody 99% of people have never met,
I
to
personally think you don't
decide
put your hand on
whether you were allowed to use what was reasonable or whether it was unreasonable.
You may have to.
children.
If your daughter, your son, is under 18, living in your house, taking what you do for his or her
don't
food,
physically
his
touch
room,
them.
and if they're running away and they won't stop, then you may have no choice. I'm not saying you should, but you may have no choice. And remember, we have the opportunity of analyzing it now. At the time it happened, it was going by in a blur.
Yeah, and remember, when you're talking about dad and mom and what they did, reverse roles is what the defense is begging this jury to do. Your dad, sure, you're not from here, but you're still a dad. You are thinking that this boyfriend is going to...
I don't care. You ain't choking my kids.
I agree that physical
No.
violence, and I believe that there was a conviction, but it shouldn't have been a trial, because what that's done is created additional community trauma, and Daryl's right.
So what happens to a parent? Your child runs away and then won't come home, so then you just leave.
You call 911.
But you just leave. What do you do?
You
it's all
don't
you can
know
do.
what
You
to
call
do.
911 to do what?
But you don't know
What is 911 going to do?
That's my point. You don't know what to do because it's a blur. No matter how long it takes in your own mind, it's happening instantaneously.
That's true. It's happening so fast. But the problem with the
But what
storyline...
this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, if I'm a juror here, I know this is a family situation. I heard what the defense is arguing to me, and I'm trying to figure out what is right here.
If I'm a juror, I'll tell you what's right. Not guilty, and have the judge admonish them and maybe find them in contempt.
No, I
and
disagree.
Put them in with
I think
counseling
it is
and
not
community
okay to
service.
choke your daughter. What even are you guys talking about?
Hey, don't lump me in on this because the amount of violence that was used was inappropriate, disproportionate.
Now, the defense did dispute the level of violence and the cause of the injuries.
Fatima testified.
Right, she did testify, I know, but they're disputing that. They're disputing. Now, this is a daughter. Now, let's talk about the daughter. Will the jury believe the daughter at her word?
I feel horrible for her.
Will they?
I feel horrible for the entire family.
I agree.
This family is completely
Forever
destroyed,
shattered.
regardless of what the jury decides. And that's who I feel sorry for.
She's now 18, and she's an adult in the world with, everything's off.
And it's
and
vigilante
gone.
justice gone bad is really what this case is it's someone believing they had the right to fix things in their family with their child, running up against the laws of the United States, which are not evenly enforced, which are subject to the discretion of a local prosecutor. And then you get into all of the cultural issues, which I'm with Meg.
Does the boyfriend have the right to interfere?
For me, I'm gone.
Does he legally have the right?
They pointed
Does
the
he
finger at the boyfriend. They pointed the finger at the
Legally,
boyfriend.
does he have the right? In my view,
The
no.
boyfriend
But did he
behaved
do
better.
the right thing?
He
Yes.
has more testosterone in him. And
Let's take a look. If you look, let's take a look at the beginning of the video.
Good.
At the beginning of the video, if you can roll it back one more time, I want you to watch the beginning of the video. We don't see the initial contact, but we do see the boyfriend come in. And when we roll the video, you'll see it. I want you to watch closely. Is the boyfriend interfering with what a father is trying to do with his daughter? Because that's what the defense is arguing here.
He's protecting her.
Yes, he is interfering, but he is also protecting her simultaneously.
I don't believe a crime is getting committed by the boyfriend.
Absolutely not.
I do.
No, absolutely not. He exercised
We are out of time.
restraint.
We are
the
out
boyfriend.
of time. But the jury will be back tomorrow.
Maybe.
You guys won't. Not tomorrow, at least. Daryl Cohen, Meg Strickler, Josh Schiffer, thank you so much. All right, folks, when we come back, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, she was the heir to a crafting empire, living a life of luxury and privilege until police accused her of orchestrating her ex-husband Jared Bridegan's cold-blooded murder. What is the evidence? Tonight, we investigate.
This is the Court TV Podcast.
Welcome back. Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Behind the big board, a new photo. This is the double homicide out of Arkansas, Devil's Den State Park. This is a photo of the person of interest they want to speak to. Unfortunately, you don't see his face, but we do still have that composite sketch. A mother and father murdered, 43 and 41. Their daughters survived, ages 7 and 9. They are with family now. But this tragedy, still an unsolved double homicide. If you have any information, please call the tip line. Also need your help on a missing child tonight. Take a look at your screen. This is Jasmine Nicole Rowland, just 16 years old, missing out of Joliet, Illinois since July 23rd. May be in that local area or may travel to Chicago. The last time she was seen, her hair was pulled back with this sort of a puff on top. She has a gap in her teeth. But if you see her, do not approach, just contact law enforcement. All right, I'm Vinnie Politan. We've got another hour of live true crime coming up. In the meantime, please don't forget to hug the kids.
There you have it. If you want to see more in-depth reporting on the latest true crime stories, you can see me every weeknight, 8 p.m. Eastern on Closing Arguments. Thank you so much for downloading. And as always, please don't forget to hug the kids.
This podcast is a production of Court TV. Go to CourtTV.com for more content, trials on demand, and to find out how to watch Court TV in your area.